What is going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about Opendoor. I want to go over some of the data points, what's really moving it, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So Opendoor is down 3.6%, 869 the low, 960 the high. So you did have that nice push higher right here. Aside from that, though, you are seeing very low volumes, 140.6 million shares being traded. 332 is the average. Nothing official from Opendoor, so no press releases, no SEC filings. Even though they did do an interview, it'd be very advantageous if they actually formalized it and put it out in news, not just on social media. But nonetheless, interview was fairly good. It was a podcast with 𝗖𝗓𝗡𝗘𝗖𝗧. So Kaz, as per usual, very good. I'm starting to actually warm up to him a little bit more than I think initially I was quite skeptical, but I am starting to warm up to him because you get comments like this. Someone was responding to saying that Opendoor will double in 30 days. And this individual did state, they just offered me $150,000 below market value for a home that I have. I knew it'd be bad, but I didn't think it'd be this bad. Their model is broken. Kaz just says, DM me your address. That is like amazing stuff. So in general, Kaz truly does care and wants to change the dynamic of Opendoor. So I've stated this in the past. I think just Opendoor has largely sucked. I know recently things have improved, but prior to that, it was a horrible type of scenario that it really did ruin a lot of investors' mentality of it. So I think Kaz is definitely has a lot of work cut out for him, but he's definitely doing a fairly good job. So got to give him a round of applause. The only thing that kind of came out today that I wanted to share with you is Roundhill did launch a new ETF called meme. And so it is just meme stocks. And unfortunately, I guess this answers the question if Opendoor is a meme or not, because it is number one. Plug Power being number two. So yeah, in general, kind of crazy stuff. So let me know your viewpoint. I know this was kind of initially a big debate when it was starting to move higher, whether Opendoor is a meme, cult, momentum play. I tend to gravitate towards more of the momentum play. I know Eric and many other individuals gravitate towards the cult type thing, but what's your viewpoint on this? I think to play devil's advocate, I guess a positive thing about this is it's institutions buying. So more ETFs, adding more stability, and that's a good thing. So whether they call it a meme or anything else, I guess it doesn't really matter all that much. But one thing I did want to bring up is Eric. So still going after 𝗪𝗓𝗓. And so I think in general, this is a very bad image. And so for as long as Eric is in this leader type role for the open army, it's not a good kind of look, right? So he just says, pump those open bags, 𝗪𝗓𝗓. You've been there from the ground floor, right? Maybe you'll get a sit down with the CEO for clicks. So I think if Eric ever goes like one-to-one with 𝗪𝗓𝗓, like 𝗪𝗓𝗓 has mass amount of followers and they are equally, if not more, diehard than Eric. So I think Eric just is, I don't know, he's just doesn't act his age whatsoever. I don't know if he's, was it late 50s or 60s or whatever he is from his picture, but nonetheless, definitely does not act his age, and he definitely doesn't know how to kind of choose his battles, right? So that's just my viewpoint. I wanted to bring this up. I know Kaz initially and some other members of actual Opendoor had some bad posts on social media. That seems to have calmed down, so maybe they got a talking to, but Eric still seems to be running his mouth, so I think that's just overall a bad image. But nonetheless though, and actually, sorry, to go back over here for a second, Eric actually did an interview yesterday. So the reason why I keep bringing up Eric is because he does actually influence the stock price. Because when he did have that interview with Charles Payne, the stock price jumped up yesterday. So again, the reason why I keep bringing up Eric is because he influences the price. So again, that's why I wanted to talk about that. Shorts at the time of doing this video are increasing 2.9 million shares. 20.29% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 143.83 million shares overall being shorted. Cost per hour average sitting at 2.41%, so a little bit lower today than the norm, but still rather low overall. And then through IBKR, it does indicate roughly around 5.8 million shares. So if shorts really did feel that Opendoor was overvalued and due to go down, there's more than enough ammunition for them to double and triple down. So again, I wanted to kind of bring this up, and rather interesting because even yesterday shorts did increase. So maybe they are trying to slow the progress of Opendoor a little bit. Looking at the options, 33 million in calls, 5.8 in puts, 46% of all the options being done are bearish in nature. Coming from a bull standpoint, still a lot of optimism for it to be roughly around that 950 to 10. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub 9. So the fact that we are already there does signal that there's definitely a lot more upside. Frequency though is betting on more downside. These are some of the transactions that did occur so far on the secondary market. So based on the premium, so you have 5.2, 2.6, and then 1.02 being the big ones. Feel free to pause the video, go through, look at the timestamps and so forth. Then these are some of the transactions on the dark pool. So just hit refresh. So it looks like 3.2 million being the number one, 1.3, 1.1, and then 1 million. So goes to show and does match with overall just the lower volume. With it right now at 886, just to give you a quick overview of this, it is smack dab in the middle between this R1 and the pivot. So 765 is going to be that strong support. Then 1023 is going to be the next strong target / resistance. So this is looking at the 1-day chart, moving it to the 4-hour. If you're more of a swing trader, for instance, with it at 886, it is right below this R2. So 889 will be kind of that key pivot for today. So best case scenario, it closes above that, and then 930 will be that next strong kind of target. So it did break above that momentarily, so that 930, but that's going to be maybe a problem for either later today or if not tomorrow. One thing to take note of though is we do have Powell speaking first thing tomorrow, so that could cause some volatility as well. Aside from all of that fun stuff, quickly popping on the actual chart, despite the push lower today, it is still above that 10-day moving average, so signaling that the momentum is on the table. Comparing the market position today versus, for instance, yesterday, you see a lot more willing buyers, but still the amount of sellers right there is still kind of sitting there, and they're just waiting, I guess. Basically, from the flow, you see algos making up for the majority of the volume. But then again, I could have told you that as well, because from the secondary market and also the dark pool, very low volume. So of course, to hit that 100+ mil has to be coming from algos. Nothing really crazy for news, so it is just a lot of the things I did bring up, speculative topics, that is moving Opendoor. So let me know your thoughts on Opendoor. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And then one final thing, pop over to my Patreon if you're looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto. Put out daily day trades, numerous swing trades. Worthwhile to pop over there and check that out. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.